It is Thursday, May 15th, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Nan, intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. It was nice being able to see you and hug you in person as we were both at Dodger Stadium as LA was taking on the Athletics yesterday. There we are.
What a beautiful day. We need to get out there more often, Chris. I know you're out there doing your dugout discussions. I need to make it down more often with you, though, man, because I not only did I get to see you, but I finally got to meet intern Sawyer. I tried to fire him on the spot, but I guess I don't have
What?
the authority to do that. Yeah.
What do you mean? Why would you try
Oh,
it? But he
I don't
just
know. I just want to
graduated.
fire someone. I figured he's a good. I'll start with him.
Well, first of all, you're not his boss. So let's start with it. You didn't sign the intern release papers.
Who are you, his boss?
I'm not really a
I'll
boss.
fire you too.
I'm a guiding mentor is what
Me
I
and
would.
Tori Lavello about to go like this to everybody.
We'll see him next week. You should go down and say hi because I'll do a dugout discussions with the Diamondbacks next week. But we did have Brent Rooker. That episode's going to air Sunday. He was fantastic. And the best part is that somebody kept interrupting the conversation, and it was excellent. Very, very fun.
Love that.
So make sure you tune in. Speaking of the Diamondbacks, tip of the cap to Tori Lavello. I think at least one manager a year does this where he goes out and argues and he starts ejecting all the umpires. Wasn't Joe Madden the first one to do this?
I don't know. I feel like there's obviously people before him too. Give me a Casey Stengel ejecting guys. I don't know.
That is great. We don't have enough of this anymore because everything is replayed. So, you can't argue with replay because the umpires on the field have nothing to do with it. So when we get a good heated argument like that, it makes me feel whole.
People get mad at my take about this, but I enjoy umpires on the field, almost not exclusively for this reason, but this is a huge part of it. Like the interaction between the manager and the umpires is sometimes the most entertaining thing that happens on the baseball field.
Who gets mad at that take? That's
I don't know.
one.
People do. They're like, well, they just hate umpires. But I'm like, hey, look, honestly, they're either good and you don't notice them, or they're bad and you get stuff like this. And it's very interesting. I don't even know why Torey Lovell was so mad. I think it was calls earlier in the series that he wasn't happy about, because this one was clearly obstruction on Jordan Lawler, and even I don't know if he was being facetious after the game in his press conference, but he said I got it wrong, they got it right, umpires are great, or something like that.
Well, I'll have to talk to him next week when I see him. I love chatting with him. I love chatting with all the managers. That's my wheelhouse. That's my demo, I think is what it is. But fun. It's great stuff. Speaking of great, look what's hitting leadoff in our lineup. Minnesota went twinning on Wednesday, sweeping a doubleheader, and making it 10 straight dubs.
Clemens is swinging a high fly ball into right field and deep. This one back towards the wall. It is gone. A home run. Cody Clemens does it again. And the Twins take the lead here in the 8th inning.
A pair of wins over the stumbling Birds. They're the first team to have a double-digit win streak. And look how smiley you are today.
It's a good day to be a Twins fan. They're in the playoffs right now, Chris. If we were to start today, they'd be the third wildcard team. There'd actually be 4 AL Central teams in the American League playoffs. Chew on that, all you coastal elitists. It's great. And the way they've been doing it, even yesterday, it was Christian Vasquez and Cody Clemens hitting big homers. I mean, that's the Cleveland Guardians formula, Chris.
Well, they had a couple of injuries. I know Ty France left, I think, game 1, and Harrison Bader, who's been fantastic for him, left game 2. And even their manager got sick, right? Jace Tingler had to manage the troops most of the day.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to be okay. I think the Twins have, a 10-game winning streak is, an anomaly. They're not going to run off the rest of the season, obviously. But I think, the way that they've been playing, the way they've been pitching the ball has kept them in every single baseball game, essentially. The bullpen's been great. Starting pitching's been great. And then, we're getting some timely hitting now. Playing the right teams, right now, I think, as well. I think that's part of it. You can't, look at the schedule and say differently. But dang, man, it's been a lot of fun.
So how good is this team overall?
I think they can be a playoff team. I had them in the. I think I had them winning the AL Central, and I've continuously disrespected the Tigers, and I've stopped that. I've had them ranked, I think, number 2 in my latest power
Mhm.
rankings. But the pitching was going to be a strong suit. They have a starting pitching staff that is probably at least 4 deep of 2 starters, like number 2 starters, and then you
Mhm.
could add some of the guys, Festa coming up, he could also be that. So you could have like 5 like guys that are gonna give you a chance, and like guys like Pablo Bailey and Joe Ryan could really throw gems every once in a while. And then the back end of the bullpen, we know like they have the guys to do it there. So pitching, great. The hitting, to me, they can have a long lineup. They haven't really done it yet this year. Like Carlos Correa hasn't really hit. Buxton's
Mm-mm.
been in the lineup every day. Him and Bader have been like pretty much the saviors of the season offensively. But if Royce Lewis comes back and gets in his legs and sees some more pitches and is who he is, and Buxton continues to play, and then Correa finds his stroke, like they have some real talent and some lineup depth as well. So like they can be a playoff team, Chris. They can. They got off to obviously a horrible start, but this is more of indicative of, I think, who the team can be.
I heard from one source that Byron Buxton's name was being bandied about the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, that there was a very aggressive, just going to report this, that there was a very aggressive suitor for him. And then if things had continued to kind of go sideways on the Twins early in the year, and they were one of the teams that we pinpointed that they have some very tradable players.
I went
That's
to the
not
I
gonna
went to the bullpen with that because I'm okay with capitalizing on a bullpen hot streak or
Mhm.
the right years of bullpen guys. But Buxton, I believe, has a no trade clause. I never thought that was going to happen.
Okay. Yeah, they're I thought the Pen yesterday in particular, 9 and a third innings in those 2 games, so they pitched more than half of the game. Gave up 0 runs. Pretty damn good. And you
Shout
mentioned
out
about
Danny
Correa.
Colomb.
Yeah, he's been great. Correa, if they get anything out of the left side of that infield, I think that's the one team in the American League Central that can improve the most. Some people would say the Tigers based on Parker Meadows and Matt Vierling coming back, but you're going to sit somebody that's been swinging a pretty good bat, most likely in Detroit. So there'll be some interesting stuff to keep an eye on. All right. In the meantime, Pittsburgh Pirates, they got a couple of homers in a 4-0 win at Citi Field. They avoid the sweep. Our buddy Jeff Passan made some really interesting comments about Paul Skenes when he visited with Pat McAfee on his show.
If they believe that they have absolutely no chance of signing him, then they should trade him. And you can make the argument that they should trade him now. I'm not going to, because I think the Pirates, with some of the players that they have coming up, they would have a chance to win if they were to go out and actually bring in some offensive players and sign some free agents. But the truth is, like, there are teams that already are going to ask about Paul Skenes at the trade deadline this year.
Do you agree with Jeff?
I think the headline is Jeff Passan saying Paul Skenes could be traded, but I think if you listen to what he's saying that's probably not going to happen, but teams will ask about Paul Skenes. And if the Pirates trade Paul Skenes, like, fire every single person in that organization. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. If they're even considering it, fire them. I'm serious, dude. What are you going to do? What are you going to get for Paul Skenes? If you trade him now, you're basically saying, hey, we don't really have the firepower to compete. So you're not going to get back major league talent, because that's not enough to compete. You just traded this guy. And then if you trade for prospects, oh, hey, let's push it down the line a little bit. You're hoping somebody turns into half of what Paul Skenes is. So this is ridiculous. They should sign him long term right now and then enter the free agent market like Jeff was saying, dude. $88 million payroll this year. Like, get in the game a little bit, Pittsburgh. Like, again, I don't think there's any validity to what he's saying, rather than there's going to be people maybe asking and like, hey, what's up with Paul Skenes? It's not going to happen. And if it does, again, if this guy gets traded, I will never go to, I don't even know, who cares? I'll never go to a Pirates game again. It sounds ridiculous.
if the Pirates trade Paul Skenes, it's in the best interest of the sport to force an ownership change. That's really what it comes down
Yeah.
to, and they would
Fire
never do it.
everybody.
I mean, we have to remember, yes, they are 30 individual companies, but it doesn't help the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers if the Pirates have no interest in playing. It does not help them because you know what helps them is filling a stadium on days that aren't opening day and Paul Skenes bobblehead day. It helps them if the Pirates are trying their best. And part of Passon's column when he wrote it on Paul Skenes was that other players would have an interest in going to Pittsburgh and playing with him. Like, I think players are pretty bright and they would notice that that starting rotation is legit, led by the best young pitcher in the game. It's the rest of the team that can't carry its load. And that's a real bummer. It's a real bummer. And there is part of me that sat there and thought about it. Like, what would the asking price be for Paul Skenes right now in a trade? You're talking about a guy who's got less than a year of major league experience.
I mean, like I said, like it doesn't matter what it would be. You can't get draft picks, and draft picks really don't even mean anything in
No.
baseball anymore. I mean, unless you nail it like the Astros did back in the day. Um, so again, what are you going to get? A bunch of prospects who like maybe one of or two of them pans out. That doesn't do anything for your organization if you have nothing else around them. And then yeah, so what major league talent to bring in and what's that going to do? You're not ready to compete. That's why you're trading Paul Skenes. None of it makes sense. It's not going to happen.
Let me throw this at you. Juan Soto was traded with, was it 2.5 years left of control? Yeah, it was 2.5 years left of control from Washington to San Diego. It ended up being CJ Abrams, Mackenzie Gore, James Wood. Now that's about as well as you can do when you're
And
fishing for prospects. And what?
and what's happened to the Nationals?
Well, but it's not those three guys' fault.
I'm not saying it. That's my point, though, Chris. There's nothing's enough.
But you would think that with Paul Skenes having 4.5 years of control left, that you could get even more than that. So you
If
might
you
throw
ask,
it.
I mean, honestly, dude, if you're asking me who I'd rather have, Paul Skenes or those three guys, and again, I respect their games. I'd rather have Paul Skenes.
I can't critique that. But you know
Would
what? You
you?
want to hear?
You'd rather have the other three? I just think that
No.
one's a surefire game changer every 5 days, and I don't know
Mhm.
if you can say the rest. I know James Wood has been, you know, had a really nice start to the season, but
Yeah, he has been good. There's not a lot of guys age 23 and younger who you would take ahead of him. Not a lot,
it's
right?
just not going to happen. Again, it's like I know what Jeff is saying, and it does stir up a lot of emotion and gets a good headline. But like, even if you listen to his words, he's just saying like people might ask, but it's not going to happen.
Right. Well, I think that's why we're not just fishing for a story here. When he said that people are going to ask at the deadline, that's when it becomes a story to me.
You can ask for a lot of things, Chris.
Yeah, but I think that
I
people
ask
will.
for a
I think
lot all
people
the
will
time.
legitimately ask for him, and maybe even put a package together. And who the heck? Wouldn't you love to know what somebody would offer for him? Just as a baseball fan, wouldn't you be interested?
I guess.
Oh, come on,
I
you're no fun.
guess. Like, okay, let's try to come up with a package. Say the Yankees wanted to trade for Paul Skenes. What's the
Right.
package?
Well, it starts with Dominguez,
Jason Dominguez.
right?
Okay.
Uh, it probably goes to Jones after that. I haven't checked in on what he's doing in the minor leagues. And then
Okay.
their two best arms,
Does
their
like
two best
Will
arms,
Warren and Luis Heel, those two guys, and then is that like I don't even know.
right? Yeah, George Lombard is shooting up the, he's in.
Okay, sure.
Let's just
He's in
keep throwing
double
stuff
A,
in.
dude. Like, let's not. I can't get in on this right now because you're just hoping he becomes a solid major league player.
I
People on
know.
their prospects need to relax a little bit.
I do want to look at this very quickly before we move on from the Pirates standpoint, is that if they don't get in the free agent game, which they have the last one that they signed him more than to a multi-year deal was Ivan Nova, and that's been 9 years or whatever in the offseason. They do have 5 of the top 93 prospects in the top 100 list, the new and improved one that just came out. But 3 of those are pitchers, and that includes Bubba Chandler, who we imagine we'll see soon. Their top position player prospect is a 19-year-old in A-ball. That's not good enough.
He's far away.
Yeah, that's not good enough. And we asked the question earlier this year, is the most important game that Skenes is going to pitch every year for Pittsburgh opening day. And that's sad. I feel for the city. I hate that we're having this discussion. I really do. I think it sucks. But I want to hear from people out there. Do you think that they should entertain trade offers? If so, do a little research. If you're a fan of a team because 29 other teams would love to have this guy and it would all make sense. Everybody's available because he's not getting paid anything for a couple of years. Why don't you do us a favor? Leave it in the comments section.
Chris, if I was a GM, and it doesn't necessarily work as easily as it would have back in the day because we have all the TrackMan throughout the stadiums and stuff. So you're getting that data. And I believe it's all public data. I'm pretty sure. This is what I would do. And people might hate me. I would trade every single prospect, like almost every single time. And then I would get in the pockets of Keith Law and all these other guys who are writing the prospect list. And I'd be like, hey, I don't know. I got this guy. You probably should rank him a little higher. Here's 10 grand. And like just manipulate the system, dude. I guarantee that happened back in the day. You're laughing. But like prospect list back in the day. Oh, here's our number one prospect. Like, who cares? Like, what?
You're John Boy Media's version of AJ Preller. Let's F them picks. Let's go.
F them picks. Let me get I'll be shady, like just passing off a little dough to get the prospect rankings higher. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, remember, there is a character clause in your John Boy Media contract. Okay? Let's not.
I didn't say it was for that. I said just take care of these guys.
All right. We got more coming your way. But first, this word from my buddy T. Plouffe.
Today's episode is brought to you by Hall of Fame. Are you tired of throwing money at parlays you just have a feeling about? Well, we've all been one leg away from hitting a massive parlay. Yep. But a strikeout, unexpected bucket, or a Hail Mary pass comes in to ruin it. With the Hall of Fame app, that could be a thing of the past by using historical data, matchup grades, leg correlation tools, and player performance insights. Once you built your parlay, you can send it straight to your sportsbook with one click. On top of that, Hall of Fame isn't just about parlays. It's built for player props, game lines, and more, giving you the tools to break down trends, spot value, and make smarter bets across every major market. For a limited time, only our listeners not only get a 7-day free trial, but they also get 50% off their first month when they use code TODAY at checkout. Just download the Hall of Fame app on iOS or Android, enter code TODAY, and you're all set.
All right, let's move on with some bad news. It's the reason I'm wearing this Halos hat, trying to give you some love and some support, people. Hard-throwing right-hander Ben Joyce done for the year. He has had shoulder surgery, and the team isn't sure he's even going to be ready for the start of 2026. How crushing a blow is this to a struggling franchise?
It's tough. I mean, he had a really, really nice year last year. So he kind of had his breakout, and the one thing that they are super struggling with, the Angels I'm talking about, is their bullpen. So to lose, one of your better bullpen arms, obviously it's tough. I don't know what expectations are for Angels fans this year. I don't think they're super high. I think they have some young players that you can really rally around and have fun with. And they got off to a nice start. But they need to fix the bullpen, and losing a guy like this obviously is tough. I really feel for him, and sometimes, or part of me thinks too, like he had to have known some arm injuries are coming when you're strictly focusing on velo, right? So as tough as it is to hear that, I feel like it's just kind of part of the process. And to look on the bright side, silver lining, if you will, he's earning service time as he's on the IL. If you get hurt at this point in your career, it's not really going to affect your future earnings. So hopefully he comes back, just as strong and has a nice career.
I hope so. He's a nice kid. I've had a couple of chances to talk with him. The problem is this is not a standalone injury, and we don't even know what type of shoulder surgery it is. The Angels are being very mum on that. He's also had Tommy John. That was back at Tennessee. He also had a stress reaction, I believe, in his pitching elbow while he was in junior college. So this is just continuing a trend. And yeah, you mentioned about the velo. I had him on in spring training on Rose rotation, and we talked about throwing hard. And here's what he said: "Do you think you can hit 107?"
I do. I really do. Like it's weird to say, but I don't see why not.
110?
I don't know about that. Well, we'll see. We'll start with 107 and work from there.
I also asked him whether or not he felt the pressure to entertain us with his velocity. And he said, he stopped and he said, "No, I really don't." He goes, "Because when I get out there, I'm just kind of doing my thing." But the whole baseball world has become enamored with velo and chasing it to places that maybe the human body can't go.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the margin for error gets bigger when you have velocity, and I guess that's kind of why everyone is chasing it. Not only that, but it's a problem within Major League Baseball and just baseball in general. You can even go down to the high school and college ranks because you're not going to get looked at necessarily, or like you're going to get a lot more looks, I'll say, if you're throwing hard. So like these kids are training for it and just wanting to light up the radar gun, or they want to get their metrics right. And like, the art of pitching, God, I sound so like an old head right here, but it's true. The art of pitching, sometimes goes out the window when you're chasing stuff like that. So I hope that we get back to a place where, because I think baseball has recently, over the last couple of years, has really kind of turned back the clock a little bit on how we're valuing players and what's working out there. We're seeing obviously a lot more stolen bases because we put in the disengagement rule, but I believe we're also seeing more outfield defense. I think we're seeing more teams putting pressure on defenses with bunts and even some hit and runs here and there, which is, a kind of a blast from the past. And I think it is a better product on the field. So I was actually talking to Dallas Braden about that yesterday. We're like, hey man, like we're seeing some of this again. He goes, you know what? How cool would it be if teams started valuing guys that could like go deep in the games? And like he goes, and he made some really funny references. Obviously, he's a pitcher and was a starter, so he wants the starting rotation to be what it used to be, like the starting rotation, not just guys that start the game and hand the ball to the bullpen in the fifth inning. So I don't know if we'll get back to that, Chris. I'm getting a little long-winded here, but I have a lot of thoughts on this.
Yeah. Well, and Dallas was one of those guys who didn't throw 96 either. He
Yeah.
had to outsmart guys in order to be out there. One guy who is crushed by the Ben Joyce news is his manager around Washington. His quote, oh my gosh, he goes, "Hopefully the people up top that make decisions continue to look around and get us some help. I know we're supposed to get Robert Stevenson back at some point this year, but it would be nice if they could find us some more help." That
Love
coming
that.
from the skipper of a team who has the worst bullpen ERA and has allowed the most homers of any pen in the game this year. Wish him luck. Hang in there, Halo fans. Swilly.
They know.
I know they know.
They know.
All right, let's get to some fun stuff. Tigers, second straight day they get a walk-off against the Boston Red Sox. That was awesome to see. The energy at Comerica is off the charts. They've got the best record in baseball. They're incredible. But I want to focus on two other really cool moments to come out of that game last night. The first one involved Alex Bregman and Tarek Skubal. And Bregman is a guy who's been ambushing Skubal, getting hits consistently early in the count against him. So this is a homer from early in the game. What is it? Is that an 0-1 count or something? Maybe
I think it was two. I think it was two first pitches.
Yeah. Okay. So he totally ambushed him, let him go. And Skubal in the middle of the game, who is as big a competitor as you got, starts, hey, Bregman, starts yelling at him from the dugout. He ignores him. And then he finally gets his attention. He's like, take a pitch. And Bregman starts laughing. So what happens? Next plate appearance, he takes a pitch. Okay, good. That's strike one. I got you. What happens the next pitch? Okay, so it wasn't the first pitch, but I'll take a knock on the second pitch. And Skubal at the end I love that from two of the great players in the game.
I do too. It's a lot of fun, and I'll how I feel about pitchers. I hate the term ambushing. It's like, oh, I swung at a pitch in the count. Like, it doesn't matter what pitch it is, bro. I'm sorry you trying to get ahead of me, and I said no, and I swung at a pitch over the plate. Stop ambushing me, bro. It's like, come on, man. It's the same. I'll say this. It's the same thing as when hitters are like, throw me a fastball. I hate that.
Yeah.
They just strike out on, they get in a bat 5 breaking pitches and they strike out, and then they're like, why doesn't he challenge me? It's like, well, you can't hit his breaking ball, so why would he throw you anything else, you idiot? But that was fun. Skubal's great. And Bregman, yeah, why would you want to get behind in the count against Tarek Skubal? Smart hitting, Alex.
Yeah. The other part of the game, 5-5, believe it's the 7th inning, and we definitely have a nominee for catch of the year.
First pitch, Gary Carpenter, right field. It is back there. It is brought back in for the catch. Abreu tags it to Rafaela, and the Red Sox play pinball for out number 2. That is outrageous.
The play was incredible. The call even made it better. And the fact that that is Detroit's hometown TV network, that's what makes Jason Benetti, in my opinion, probably the best we've got going, is his enthusiasm for the game. Some other team announcers might have said, oh, he caught it. No, that was a freaking amazing catch. And it's a moment that I think we can all, it sucks if you're a Tigers fan, but to be able to see it and enjoy it with the enthusiasm that he did, A+, now you can focus on the play.
No, I thought it was awesome. Obviously, Wilyer Abreu making up for the homer he gave to Riley Green earlier in the series. That's nice. Hey, give one up, take one away. The funny thing is, like, Rafaela, who, by the way, is like a phenomenal center fielder. It's crazy watching him out there. He was in the wrong position. Like, if he's going over there and he's playing essentially backup, even though he's in front of him, you have to he's on the warning track right there. You need to be on the grass in case the ball caroms off the wall. And he was just kind of like, I think he might have thought, I'm going to go catch this thing. And then he saw Wilyer there. So he just happened to be in the perfect spot, even though it was the wrong positioning. But I thought it was awesome. Yeah, it's great.
That's a great point. I can't tell you the number of times pitchers poorly back up bases. Either they're taking the wrong angle, like if the throw's from left field and they're on the wrong side of home plate, backing it up, or they're standing 3 feet from the catcher. I was like, that's not backing it up, because if the ball goes over his head, where are you supposed to be?
That's what happens in my youth team all the time. Hey, you're supposed to back up this base, and they get so
They're
close.
9.
Like, no, give yourself some space.
Yeah, they're 9 years old. That's okay. That's fine. Good stuff. Good stuff. Why don't you, in the comments section, why don't you do a little homework for us today and tag us with one of your favorite catches of all time? Yeah, I've got a couple right off of the top of my brain. Kenny Lofton, where he stole it from BJ Surhoff, where his back was to home plate. He climbed the wall in Cleveland in center field, brought back one. Do you have a favorite outfield catch?
I'm trying to think of one in particular. I mean,
It's got to be a Corey Hunter.
Ben Revere always comes to mind when I think of these catches, because he just was kind of a small body, but man, he threw it around and made some really good catches. Who went up and got it up in Toronto? Was it Pilar that did that?
Yes.
Climbed the fence?
It's a good one.
Pilar made a bunch of catches, and I can't really pin down one good Kevin Kiermaier catch. But gosh, I know he's made a ton.
I think Kiermaier did it too. Didn't he climb the wall in center field?
He might have, then spun his glove on his finger, and he was a different animal out there, dude.
Yeah.
There was one ball. Okay, there was one. I can't name it, but there was one ball in Tampa that I think I was on the bench for it, and I saw the ball go up, and then just thought it was a double or extra base hit for sure. And out of nowhere, Kiermaier came, and I'd never been so shocked on a catch in my life. I don't have this specific date, but he deserves so much applause.
Hook us up in the comments section. Give us your favorite. Attach a link to it. We'll grab a look. That'd be good. All right, last thing. Tom Hanks was at the Dodgers game last night, not wearing a Dodgers hat, wearing an A's hat, and the Athletics broadcast. Jenny and Dallas were all over this. Let us know that he was a former peanut vendor at A's games, which I did not know. It's kind of cool.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. What's the one job you would like to try out at a stadium other than like ball player or front office dude?
Oh,
Like,
I
is
was
there
gonna say owner. Owner would be a lot of fun.
owner would be nice too?
Owner would be nice just to walk around and be like, I'm gonna sit in my seats and maybe I'll fire you today. Not sure. We'll see.
Would you like to try and be a member of the grounds crew one day? Would it be okay to be a clubby one day?
I think being a bullpen catcher will be fun.
Ooh.
Because you're kind of like part of the team. So you're out there, you're chopping it up with the boys. You get to like catch major league pitching, but like you have zero pressure on you. You just get to show up to the field every day and just catch bullpens, but you kind of like live the big league lifestyle. It's nice.
That was I was there yesterday. Emmett Sheehan was throwing a live BP to Teoscar Hernandez and Tommy Edman. And I think Tommy was out there maybe, but I know Teo was. And whoever the bullpen catcher was talking shit to Teo the whole time. It was great. It was fun. Really, really good stuff. They were arguing like your at bat is over if you strike out, walk, or put the ball in play when you do these. So he hit a ball to right field, and it was kind of tailing foul. And the catcher was like, "You wouldn't have caught that. So get your butt back in the bottom." It was fun. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Hey, shout out Nate Damon, who was a Twins bullpen catcher for a long time, 2007 through 2018, and now he's he's part of the coaching staff now.
Oh,
He kind
good.
of like worked his way up. Yeah, shout
That's
out
fun.
Nate.
By the way, what is going back to Hanks? What was your first job? Was it as pool boy assistant?
Technically, yes. It was just working for my dad, like cleaning pools during the summertime. So that would be my first job. I applied for a job at Mrs. Fields Cookies in the mall. Did not get the job.
How do you not get the job?
I don't
Were you
know.
going to eat the
I
profits?
believe they said they wanted somebody with experience, and I was like, what?
Experience in cookie sales?
I don't know. I didn't get the job, Chris. So I guess technically, well, I worked at a Christmas tree lot a couple times.
Oh,
I didn't really
did you
have
get
jobs,
tipped?
man. I played baseball, and I was also a hustler. I would sell Diet Coke cans at Magic Mountain that had a 2-for-1 promo for tickets. I would just go sell them to people that were going to buy tickets.
Okay.
Made a
Was
little
that
cash.
Was that lucrative?
Oh my gosh, yeah. You buy a 18 pack for like $9 or something like that. And then I would sell each can for $10 because the tickets were like $40.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
saving people 30. I'm making 10. So yeah, it's lucrative.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah.
You want to know my first job?
I do.
Ball boy for the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, I knew that.
Yeah. I know. One of those.
And there's a guy that used to throw you a ball at the end. You had to catch it, and if you didn't,
Yeah,
he would
Mike
booze
Pagel.
you.
Good call. That away.
Yeah.
Good callback. All right. Boy, we have got some interesting series coming up starting on Friday. It's rivalry weekend, whatever the heck that means. But we will be previewing plenty, including the Mets and Yankees in the Boogie Down, Juan Soto.
Are the Guardians playing the Reds? Is that their rivalry?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that one. There's some weird ones too every year, but baseball's trying, and that's all.
Shout out Clayton Kershaw to save the Dodgers season. Let's go.
All right, for our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, the newly graduated Sawyer, that is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Friday on Baseball Today.